The biggest problem for artists by far is that feeling of releasing and trying and getting no streams and getting no views and nobody cares about you, you're irrelevant, just as the same as you were 100 songs ago, and you keep releasing, you're trying to run ads, you're trying to do some Spotify playlist placements, so maybe you even tried doing TikToks. At this point, most artists have tried everything, and they come to a conclusion that nothing really works, and that you just have to brute force your way through it and hope to blow up one day. But that's not what Central C did. Central C was basically unknown for 10 years making music before he and his manager YB did this. So for 10 years he couldn't do anything and he couldn't get anything off the ground, but then suddenly him and his manager YB do this one set of things, and suddenly these singles plus Wild West blow the fuck up. Why? Well, I'm gonna explain to you why, so you can copy Sench and do this for yourself. What we're gonna focus on is this initial first blow up. It's getting your first fans, it's getting your foot through the door and making people literally grabbing them by the neck and forcing them to care about you. So, before he became the Central C with the Wild West album, he was actually making a totally different type of music. He was actually on some auto-tune, Lil Wayne sounding Afrobeat type songs, and if you go back and you listen to any of his old songs, they're kind of ass, they're boring, they're generic as fuck, and they're not unique in any way. So the first thing Central C did right is he went himself through an artist development course. So he really sat down and he said, okay, my sound isn't working, it's shit, I need to do artist development before I do this. And he was right, because unless you do artist development before you do the marketing and the releases, well, all this has no point. Nothing is gonna work unless you're a really well-developed artist with a very well-developed sound and well-developed image. So I have a video about this that you should watch. Literally right-click it, watch it in a new tab after this one, so you get both these steps right. So basically, Sench said, okay, my sound isn't working, I'm making some generic auto-tune crap and this has to change. And he decided to kinda hop on drill beats, but drill was already being made. There was a million drill artists already, and what was the point of just being another drill artist, you know? So instead, Sench decided to try out a softer drill. I just call it soft drill, maybe it has a name by now, but he basically did guitar beats, and he did soft lyrics about love and just chilling with the boys. So whereas most drill was like this, it was cold, it was scary, it was about breaking your opponent's bones and chinging them, Central C was talking about loving over guitar drill beats. And that was a new sound. Also, he went and he worked on his style a little bit. Look at the difference between these two, right? He's so much more stylish and interesting in this picture here. He's got his fit right, he's looking good, he looks like a proper rapper, which is important. You cannot neglect this and look like a bum. So he went through artist development for himself. And the next thing he did is, in this new sound that he came up with, he released a focus track. A focus track is a test track. You put it in front of an audience and you see how it does. If it does poorly, you scrap that sound, you go back to the studio, you don't release anything, you keep trying to make the sound new and unique and see if the audience bites. And when Central C put his new sound in front of an audience on GRM Daily, if you're American, that's the same as World Star Hip Hop, he put it on there to test it out, and the people bit. This music style connected. The fucking thing popped off because it was new. Nothing like this existed before. Day in the Life found massive success on GRM Daily and a lot of people came to watch it. And when Sench saw that his sound is actually connecting with people and they like it, it was time to work on a mixtape. All he had to do was make an entire ass mixtape of that same sound because it works. He knows that it works. So he needs to make a bunch of it and roll out a mixtape. And he made it. He made it very fast. Between between his first track popping off and the mixtape dropping, it was only a few months. So he probably made all of these tracks in maybe like, I don't know, a month or two. He hopped in the studio and he just copy-pasted a whole bunch of what already worked. And if you look at Wild West, like if you really look at it and give it some critique, only a few songs on it are actually good. You can tell he was rushing the project to capitalize on the fame he got from Day in the Life. And so really the only good songs were, I think, 6 for 6, Commitment Issues, very good. It was probably Day in the Life, and it was probably Loading. So these were probably the only good songs on it. And lo and behold, he started dropping them as singles. Because to prepare for an album rollout, you need to prepare a whole bunch of shit. And you can't just let people forget about you. You know, he dropped his first track, it kind of popped off, and you can't let people forget about you. He had to keep the gas on the gas pedal, and he had to keep pumping out the singles. So all the actual good songs off of Wild West, he started releasing month by month. You can see on this chart, one by one, on GRM Daily. All of them came out on GRM Daily, which already has an audience, by the way. He didn't post on a fresh, no views YouTube channel. He posted somewhere where rap fans and drill fans already go and they watch GRM Daily, and he put himself in front of them 4 or 5 times with his singles. So while he was getting the actual good singles off of his very rushed mixtapes out, he was working on his brand. He came up with the color orange is gonna be the project color for him and his mixtape. He was kind of rocking everything orange. He was setting up his social media pages to receive new following, because imagine if a lot of people were finding out about like the singles that were dropping, right? And they came over to his social media and it was just empty, or the pictures was shit. You can't have that. He needed to look like a real rapper. So he got the Lambos, he got the fucking murals, he got the boys, the sport cars, the Cullinan right there, right? The fits, the drip pics. And you might say, well, I don't have Cullinans and Lambos. That's okay. You have to do something cool, and you have to establish your brand. That's very important, because as new audience trickles in, well, you want them to stay. You want to give them a reason to stay, and that between your songs and your projects is your content on Instagram and whatever. So as he was posting the singles in preparation for the rollout, he was getting his brand right, his branding and his social media. They actually started working on a promo campaign, which will last exactly 1 week, or maybe like just a day or two longer than a week, because the point of releasing an album is to have a lot of people find out about you at the same time. If you're not gonna have a big ass album rollout, don't release albums. Just keep testing singles. Post a single, see if it clicks. No, go back to the studio, work on that new sound, work on your artist development. Post the single. If it clicks, then you start preparing the rollout, because making an album is expensive. Doing a rollout is expensive. Of course you want it to work. And even if you're gonna copy cinch and do all the same stuff for like very little money or free, there's still no point doing it if nobody is connecting with your sound and your brand as an artist. So he was getting the promo campaign ready, which took a few months, and they were gonna unleash it all on the mixtape release week. 1 week, boom, 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 very fast. First thing they did is him and his manager YB, they contacted an artist marketing firm in the UK, it's bay.co.uk, and they work with a lot of artists. So they came to already experienced professionals to help them with the big-ass marketing campaign. And this is what Bay helped them do. They were trying to take over West London and have C do all the crazy shit and really make West London primarily talk about cinch. So they did installations, they did a takeover, they did murals, they did these wanted posters, and with the wanted posters, like look at the murals, that's not a shitty ass small mural, that's a whole ass building wall. They went large, and you have to go large because it's visibility and exposure. You get two things which you really want as an artist. And then you have these wanted posters, and you have the Lambos. The Lambos are social proof. He's someone that is worth paying attention to. And look at how they plastered the city with these fucking posters near big metro stations, near town center squares. You know, right here. They were hitting all the most visible points. Look at the street corner and how many posters there are. They were trying to make sure that all of West London for the next week belongs to Sench, and that every living person in that area knows about Sench. But that's not all. The wanted posters of him on a dumbass horse had people look for him. So he did this, right? He was doing the horse campaign, which is cool. It's weird, it's exciting, it promotes interaction, and it had people look for him. And in front of some of the billboards, he was actually there. During the promo week in West London, he was actually at some of his billboards and murals taking pictures with fans, which is really cool. As a person who finds out about this, you get to connect with fans. Like, imagine you're a fan, and this billboard was right in front of a very busy bus stop. Imagine you're like a kid who's into rap, and you see this, and you see the artist who's on the billboard. That's fucking cool. You come up and you take a picture, which is what a lot of people did, and it got everybody talking. All of West London was talking. He was building social proof. He was building his brand. He was already interacting with fans a little bit. That is fucking awesome. And so the next thing he did as he was taking over West London is he also had cool limited merch. Now, he had a collaboration with Trapstar for the clothes. We're gonna talk more about that in a second. But he had cool limited merch. He had an actual little interactable thing that you can buy and be a part of a big project rollout. And people love being a part of something. So this merch actually sold out. All of it sold out within the first hour of the collection dropping. All of it sold out because people wanted to be a part of something big that was happening in West London. This was something iconic, and you can tell just by his Instagram, right? People wanted to be part of this. Now, another thing that happened, thanks to them selling merch, is they were bundling album CDs with their merch, which they then report back to the charting agencies that track charts. And as the bundles, basically you sell a hoodie, you include a CD with it, and you tell the charting company that you sold a CD, right? And so you hit the charts. His mixtape, thanks to all this stuff, it actually charted. And charts are free exposure. You go into Spotify, you see his mixtape plastered all over it, right? You go onto Apple Music, you hit charting, you see his mixtape plastered all over it. I think it reached like number 2 in the UK. It was very, very high for doing this without a label. Him and his manager did it on their own. Like, yes, they spent money. Of course, all this costs money, but it's what they did that matters. And so thanks to all this, they also hit the charts, which was tremendous, and it added even more exposure to what was already happening here. Another thing that gave him tremendous exposure was his collab with Trapstar London for the project. Trapstar is a huge brand, as you can see right here. 1,300,000 followers of Sench's target audience. That's not just a random ass audience of people in the UK, no. They love streetwear, they love trackies, they probably love hip hop and drill. This is 1 million people of target audience for social proof. He's collabing with a big brand, plus tremendous fucking exposure from Trapstar, and that was massive for Sench. But that wasn't it. It keeps going. And all of this is happening in 1 week, in a very short period of time. He did a giveaway. Sench was giving away a Rolex And he was giving it away for Instagram sharing. Look, you had to follow his accounts, you had to like the post, tag 3 friends, and all friends had to follow the account. And he did this for TikTok dances as well. If you post a dance to his music, Commitment Issues at the time, his song, you could win a Rolex, for real, which is cool. A lot of young kids who are his target audience really want a fucking Rolex, and people were spamming Instagram posts. They were spamming TikToks for their free chance to win a motherfucking Rolex. How cool is that? And fan sharing popped off the fucking wall on Instagram and TikTok. So he didn't just physically take over the neighborhood, he took over the internet space in the UK as well. And that wasn't actually the only giveaway he did, there was another. If you took a picture with his mural or one of his like stencils on the ground that promote the Wild West mixtape, you could get a whole ass free meal at Chicken Kitchen. Chicken Kitchen is just some place in the hood, you know, it's in his neighborhood right by the metro stations, just some corner place that serves chicken. But you could get a free meal if you come there and you show them a picture with Sench's mural, which again got people sharing and got them taking the pictures, it got them interested, it gave them exposure, it gave them interaction and fan sharing. So this is really fucking cool. There were 2 giveaways involved, and these 2 are something other videos about Sench never really talk about. Everyone talks about his Strapstar collab and his horse merch, yeah, but they don't really talk about that he did a lot more than that. And I'm telling you this for free because I want you to copy this. And even if you can't copy this exact thing, well, you can create something similar. So one of the last things he actually did all in the same week as all of this was happening, he also did a secret pop-up show, which he announced very, very quickly, I think like an hour or 2 before it happened. And he just popped up in some park in West London. And look, people came. This is a decent turnout for a secret show that was announced like an hour ago and nobody really knows you, you know? You're Sench, you're still in the process of growing, you're not famous yet, you're a no-name, you're a fucking nobody. People didn't give a shit about you 3 months ago, but now all of West London physically, all of the British young internet on the internet, everybody who wears Strapstar, everybody who likes free food, you know, is out there talking about Sench, and he does a secret show which boosts his engagement even more, boosts fan sharing even more. People talk about it, they go home, they tell all their friends, because it's a secret show. They came and they did something cool that not everybody was invited to. It's, you know, a secret kind of insider crowd type of vibe. And it built interaction and it built excitement. And as a result of all of these things happening very, very quickly, Wild West popped off. He fucking pulled it off flawlessly. So with that, I hope you learned something new. I hope you appreciate the level of detail I went to. If you did, watch my video on artist development, and one day, probably soon, I'll have an exact tutorial on how you can do an album rollout that's not as expensive as Sench's. Basically do a viral budget album rollout. So if you're interested in that, watch that video as well. It should pop up right now if it's already out, and if not, just watch the artist development video.